on, good people? It's your girl, Ashlyn Cole, from your favorite show, Shop Talk. And I'm excited to share some great things with you. The Freedom Radio team has been working hard behind the scenes to make sure we have accessories that you want that helps you show support of your radio station. We have heard the voices of our listeners and have now made available these items: water bottles, AirPod cases, phone cases, both Apple and yes, even Android, mouse pads, wireless charger, and a Bluetooth speaker. These items are all available right now on our website, freedomradio.com/shop. That's freedomradio.com/shop. Or you can open the FDR gear icon in the Freedom Radio app. As always, we appreciate all your continued support and can't wait to see you with your new gear from your radio station, the People Station, Freedom Radio.
Didn't know how to call him, but even though I couldn't see, he was there.
Hey, everybody. Uh-oh. There you go. Everybody, hope you're well. I'm sorry. Today is a funny tip day. So, hey, everybody out there in Shop Talk land. First, I'm so sorry that we were late. You know, sometimes what happens is technical difficulties. And so it's a part of what happens in technical. I hope you guys are well. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you are listening from. Do me a favor and please share this live. You can share it anywhere. Just click that arrow at the bottom and click share to your family, to your friends, and do this for me. Are you here? Tell us where you're watching from. You're listening, you're watching from. Tap into the comments below, and let's get this party started. All right. So welcome to Shop Talk, and where nothing or no one is off the table. And so today our station manager, as you can see, is not here today. But he is, making life happen as we all are trying to do one day at a time. All right. And so let's do this. Let's talk about today's national days. All right. So today's national days is Juice Slush Day. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of sugar. Okay. So today is Juice Slush Day. Never experienced that before. Strawberries and Cream Day. My dad used to make the little angel cup or angel cakes, and that's where you buy the cakes. They're in the store already, but they're already made. Simple, easy dessert, and then you get the fresh strawberries. You do a little whipped cream, so that's a cool little dessert for the summer. So that's nice. And Waitstaff Day. Oh, that's really cool. I used to work in a restaurant. One of my favorite jobs that I've ever had. Yes, I have worked a real job. It was called Cafe Odyssey. And Cafe Odyssey was a really, really great job. And I was not a waitress, but I was in the whole staff. So that was cool. So other national days are Beef Burger Day, National Brisket Day, and Flip Flop Day. Flip Flop Day, that's interesting. Flip flops can be really cool when you're out and about trying to get your day started. So let's get this moving. Let's bring up another host as he's out and about, traveling the streets, getting his work done. Let's bring him into the party, okay? Happy Shop Talk Day. Hi, boss. He's out, taking care of life. So let's add him to the party. Hi, Jacory. All right, let's get this.
I'm trying to find my voice. So you know what I'm doing. Funerals. I got a funeral today. I got a funeral tomorrow. I got a funeral Saturday.
Wow.
So Jesus. So yeah, that's why I'm in the car today.
That's why you're in the car today. I said, what
And
is
I
in
think
the
we're gonna have to have a shop talk where we talk about funeral chronicles. Because I got another, I think I could talk about this real quick. I got another family that is working my ever loving nerves. They have been calling me
Really?
every day. I think we need to get some help in our community with the funerals. I think they're trying to produce something great, but they don't realize what it takes to produce a Yolanda Adams song at a funeral at a mortuary. It's
Sure,
not gonna
sure.
happen. I think
Sure.
they be trying to relive or pull their loved one back with some of the stuff that we try to do. So I'm good at what I do, but I'm over it today.
You're over it today. Yeah, I think sometimes people don't realize on both sides how hard it can be on both sides, which is why I always suggest or encourage that you love on people big and loud while they're here. Because it just, I'm not saying no matter how much you do that, it doesn't suggest that the process is easy. But I do think it makes it a little bit lighter for
Oh,
sure.
most definitely. Because I'm so the thing is, if you ask for a soloist to come and sing at a funeral, you're asking one person. A soloist is one person. Let's teach first. So when you say, "Hey, I want you to sing a Rance Allen song," you ask for a soloist to come. I can attempt to do a Rance Allen song, but in listening to a Rance Allen song, there's a lot of different moving parts. You got
Mhm.
background,
Mhm.
you got
Mhm.
drums. Mortuary don't necessarily have drums. They may have keys or organ. So I've been trying to teach my people,
Mhm.
you need performance track don't all most of the funeral homes in the Bay Area, you go in there with a USB drive or I've had to sing with my speaker.
Help us, Jesus.
So we got to elevate not only our people but the mortuary system as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely think that a lot of times people are just not prepared for those moments. And so we're on both sides, right? Because I've been on both sides. Maybe the other side is that I'm musical, so it's a different element when you're musical, right? But I think people are they aren't not sure what to do. I saw a really dear friend who I've known since I was a teenager. Her brother-in-law unfortunately just passed away, and she posted. She said it's really important that you talk out the arrangements, even though these are difficult conversations, right? So let me say this to you: I'm 125. And I don't know who's still gonna be here. You know, you could just put Kirk Franklin on. You know what? Probably floating programs is gonna be happening by then. You could just do that. I'm fine. But let me tell you something. At 125, listen. I want no foolishness. Okay, so
Period.
you know what I mean? But I do I know it's uncomfortable for us to have those conversations, but I think it's important to have the conversation what you do and do not prefer, who you want or not want to sing, what kind of music you want. Because I think a lot of times we pull out this music that the person didn't even like. You know what my confession is? At my mother's funeral, there was a song I was supposed to sing. Like I literally heard, we hear Jesus. So I literally heard God say, sing this song. And I felt like if I sing this song, this church is gonna erupt. Not because I'm so great, but because the level of maybe emotion or
Connected.
steel in the room. But I think we do people what I learned through this process of of healing is you actually do yourself and the person a dishonor. So the truth is, those moments. So can I just help people a little bit further? Like we didn't plan to talk about this. Let
This is
me say
good
this to
though.
you. When I went through grief therapy, shout out to Pastor Samantha Dowdy, who is a professional grief therapist or professional grief counselor. And she says something to me. She said, Yolanda, you don't owe anyone your emotions. You don't owe anyone to be quiet, or if you wanted to scream, you should have. If you wanted, and I was trying to be classy and quote unquote dignified, but the truth is, my mother was gone and I
Right.
wasn't prepared for that. And so I think, even as people who are musical, in those moments, you have to do what you hear. You have to do what the family has asked. That's most important. But I think you also have to do what you hear. And I think a lot of times we're afraid to sing these songs because we don't want to disrupt the room. But
And see,
sometimes the
that's
room
where
needs
I'm
to be
at.
disrupted.
That's where I'm at with it. I felt like the family was keeping me in this box, and I'm not a singer that
Hmm.
can be in a box. I'm the
Hmm.
type of singer when it comes to funerals, which I've been doing since I was 13 years old. Is I like to filter what's in the room. This is not even just with funerals. This is with worship. I'm not a singer that can stick to a set because my thing is, what does Jesus want for these people in this room right now? It not may not be your top five or your top. He may want a hymn here. He may want me to just pull off some stuff in the walls from what I feel because that's what the people need to receive. So I just felt like the family kept boxing me in, and I was at the point. I've never been to the point to where I want to tell the family, I'm not going to be able to meet meet your need.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I think a lot of times we don't know what I'm speaking from behind both sides. We just don't know what to it's different when you and this is another element that probably you and I can speak to. It's different when someone in your family passes and you are the music person. And so you're singing kind of for both things at the same time. And you have kind of a little bit more control of the moment. But when you're not in the family and you're trying to abide by what has been requested of you, which is, what you should do, which is professional. At the same time, when you're spiritual, right? You
Right.
hear something else, it's like kind of feeling stuck what to do in this room. And again, I think as African Americans in particularly, we try to control those emotions. That was one of the most powerful things she said to me. She said, if you wanted to scream, you should have. You didn't owe anyone your emotions, no matter who they were. And I think a lot of times the reason why you see, in my opinion, like, sometimes hysterical, sometimes it's because we
Hmm.
just don't know what to do with the emotions.
Right.
A shout out to Bishop Cooper. He says that what happens when someone passes, now the love is just out in the air. It has nowhere to go. And so we're
Mm.
just trying to figure out what do we do with those emotions. But I also, this is my mommy's wisdom. When you treat people right while they're here, you don't have to act out.
It's a different expression. Totally.
It's totally different. It's not that it doesn't hurt. It's not that it's not painful. It's just a different you just feel different when you've done all you can, when you taking care of them, when you were kind, when you did all your part. It's totally different.
And then the flip to that is like when I'm being asked, because this is most of the time I'm being contracted in to do these services, which is not a problem. I love to do them, not a problem. But the thing is, it changes everything. Because I remember one of my brother's friend, he recently went home to be with glory. My brother was like, I want the service to be like daddy's. I want the service to be like my brother's. That's not something that can be easily duplicated. It's all in the lifestyle of the person that it has passed on.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I can bring you my best gifts, but at the end of the day, it's all in the hands of who just left and
Absolutely.
what transpires in that moment. So I think this is a
Absolutely.
great conversation because we I think we put these feelings and these conversations under the carpet, and we've done it for years and we never
Hmm.
talk about it, and it happens to us so immediate and sudden, and then we don't know what to do. So this is
Absolutely.
good.
Mr. Joy says, I worked at a funeral home. We had a service of a woman who kept telling her, it's okay, baby, it's all right, etc. That girl jumped up and said, it's not all right. It's not okay. My mom is dead. Stop telling me it's okay. Yeah, I think the other part is trying to conceal, like we were saying, people's feelings, right? And shout out to this lady. She's a funeral home director in my hometown. She's been doing it for so long. Her name is LaQuita Taylor, and she always said, "You cannot tell people how to feel."
And it's best to just stay silent. If you don't know what to say,
Mm-hmm.
just be there. Being there is
Just be
enough.
there.
Because that
Being there
I'm
is
I'm
enough.
sorry for your loss. Sometimes that'll get you caught up.
Yeah, because I think you don't know. I mean, I've learned. I'm just grateful through the process that I'm still experiencing, still healing every day. I just had really great people in my ear. That's the truth. And this Bishop Cooper, I speak of often. And I said, well, I don't understand. This is crazy. Why are people like pretending like all of a sudden everybody's my friend? And
Mm.
then nobody's my friend. All of a sudden people stop talking to you. They were blowing you. He said, Yolanda. I said, yes, sir. He said, people sometimes just don't know what to do. You have to understand that there's a difference between feeling sorry for you and empathy. He said, you are a person of empathy. But
Mhm.
some people, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. So it's not that they don't care. And I said,
And then so
"Dang."
many people come in those hard moments just to see and look. You know them and they know
Oh,
you, but they
absolutely.
just coming to see and look. Ooh, what the flowers look like, what they look like. What is a dead person supposed to look like? They ain't alive no more.
They're unalive.
That's that's why if I plan to be caught up in the rapture, but if God has a different vision and plan for me, you will not see me laid out like I just can't do it.
So, oh, this is good. And we didn't plan to talk about this, but this is good. So you prefer to be cremated?
I prefer to be cremated, and I prefer
Really?
for a body not to be there. Because
Wow.
at my father's, we had a viewing before the service, so the viewing was the day before, and upon entering, it was a thousand for my brother and my father. It was thousands and thousands of people. So I could hear people, "Ooh, it ain't nobody here. Ooh, where the body at?" And it just really turned me off.
Sure.
So I got to the point to where it was just like, I mean, I've seen a lot of people, and I get it. Sometimes you need that visual to
Yeah,
actually have closure, but it was too much for me because it's just like, okay, my dad, I know it's him, but it don't look like him. It's so many different parts to that that didn't work for
sure.
me. So it was just like, just put up the big, beautiful pictures and let's have a praise party.
Yeah, I think I will say this. I would prefer to be there. I saw this post from a artist not too long ago, Aaron Fuller. He said, "Now these are my announcements for my service." He said, "I want y'all to mourn for 5 days." Okay, but he was playing. He was like he was just trying to create some laughter. But I think I would prefer to my presence to be there if you will. But I will say this in line of what you said. I think what happens is when it feels so final, when they close this
Hmm.
casket, it's like, oh,
That's true. But I think even with that, maybe my thing is because I services out here on the West Coast are a little different. They don't crank you up. They have you. They have you. They have you sunk in there. Like when I went for like my godmother, it was a beautiful display. So it was just like, oh my goodness, she should just wake up. She looks like she just needs to wake up. But they had her sit. It felt like as if she was sitting on top of the casket. Here at
mm-hmm,
home,
mm-hmm.
they don't crank you up. They just have you sitting like you in a tunnel, and I just can't do it.
Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. Someone said, Miss Nicole Eason said, "What if we're obedient to the Holy Spirit shift, even under contract and impact occurs?" I agree with that. I think sometimes it's hard to do, and I think you have to be a person who's able to read the room very well to know if this is something you should. I always say Kevin Lemons was the best
Oh,
room
definitely.
reader I ever met. And I think you have to know what this room calls for. And even I agree with her, but I think even in that, is that a smart move to make? I mean, you really have to be in tune if you are a person of faith, you're a believer, you're saved, you hear God, you do, because you could do that and that could end up being a problem with the family, with the funeral home. So you have to really be in tune. You can't really sing what you want to sing. You just got to really know, should I keep going? Should I pull back? Is this enough?
A
You got
verse
to
and a
really
chorus, right?
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to really be in tune with that. So I'm glad we had this conversation. I think I agree with you. We should have these conversations more because I know it makes people uncomfortable. No one wants to talk about that.
But
But
that's just
definitely,
like the conversation of sex. It's just like a lot of
really,
these, I mean, a lot of the conversations that we should be having in church so that we don't get caught up to meet them in different ways and closed doors is because we don't have the conversations, then we just expect you to know. We expect you to know how to operate when death hits. But we don't talk about it. We just go through it and let it meet us at the,
oh, that's
right
so good.
on.
Yeah, we're not
By the
prepared
way,
for the
happy
fall.
birthday to Nicole Eason. She just had a
Oh,
birthday.
happy birthday, Miss Eason. Happy birthday to you. Mr. Joey says, "Are you there to do ministry or provide a service?" I just think it depends on.
Mine is both most of the
It's
time.
both, but I think you have to be cognizant. I was asked to sing for. I've only sang in one funeral here in Charlotte, and a friend of mine, she was supposed to sing at the funeral, but she wasn't able to. They she referred me. I did. I, I had to really read the room. I didn't know the people. It was the first funeral I had ever attended here in Charlotte since I've lived here, and I didn't. It was totally different than what I was used to at home. Like Ja'Cory said, there was a guy supposed to play the piano, but we weren't able to go over the song before. I felt totally out of my element than I have ever felt in a really really long time. So I didn't know, and it was a different part of us. That's all
Hmm.
I can say, it wasn't, it wasn't super churchy. That's okay. Let me be clear with you, that everybody, that is okay. But it was just, it was a hard room to read. And I think at that moment, I felt like my best bet is to stay in line with what I was asked to do.
And see, that's the funny thing for me. Like the lady was just like, I want you to sing the song that's on YouTube. I was just like, what is on YouTube? So I had to go listen to YouTube. But today I have the great maestro Moses Tyson playing for me. So I'm not at
Really?
all afraid. I'm just like, but I'm always nervous. Anytime I sing, I'm
Oh
very
yeah,
nervous
me
until
too.
I
Me
start.
too.
And it's like, Jesus, wave your magical wand and do whatever you
Yeah,
need
me
to.
too. Me too. Whew. Okay, so this is good. I think we should do this again because this is good. But while I have Jacory here, I want to talk about something that's really great. Today is the birthday of the amazing and the iconic. Two things I want to get while you're here. Gladys Knight. She turned 81 today.
Oh,
So happy
Jesus.
birthday, Miss Gladys. Or my mama said you better call her Miss Knight. Hello, happy birthday, Miss Knight.
Miss Knight.
Uh, yes, happy birthday to the iconic. Come on.
Gladys, Gladys, happy birthday.
Georgia. Yeah.
Yes.
Happy birthday to her. I think that's amazing. Speaking of that, I tapped this in our group chat last night. So I didn't know that the AMAs came on, the American Music Awards. My other favorite show, The Breakfast Club, they were talking about it, but nobody knew. It was like the AMAs came on. That's how I found out. I really found out because I was online. I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw Sierra in this incredible outfit. And I
Mm,
was like, where's she going? And it was like the AMAs. So I watched it last night. Let me say this. It was, it was cool. I think in prior years it may have been better. Jennifer, my girl, I love her. Jennifer Lopez hosted. She looked like
hmm
$1 million. I just don't know if she gets old. Like this is crazy, but she looked incredible. Gloria Estefan, is that how you say it? Gloria
hmm
Estefan. She performed. I said, dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun,
she's.
dun, 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 dun. Hey, dun, 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 dun. Now listen, I grew up in Colorado, so I grew up around all this music. It was great. But let me tell you who really I when I watched him, I said, wow, first of all, let me do it right, because I am this. Janet Jackson was given the
hmm
Icon Award last on the awards, and what I love, she was so. I think she's always been this way, but she performed. It was great. The girl doesn't miss a step, but she was so humble in her response. And she
Mm,
said, I don't even consider myself to be an icon. People were like, oh no. And she was like, no, I just get to do basically I get to do what I love. And me and my family did
wow.
not do this to be famous. I thought that was really heartfelt.
That's
She said, we
key.
didn't do this for that. We did this because we love it and we love music. And it just so happened that we became, famous. And at the end of her speech, she said, no matter, this is my last thought, no matter what, keep God first in your life. I said, oh, okay, Janet. That was nice.
She had a preach, huh?
She had just a little bit. I'll tell you who really, I wanted to talk while Jacory's on, who really made my heart jump was Rod Stewart.
He been in the game
And
a long
he's
time.
been in the game a long time. And so all his children were there because he received a Lifetime Achievement Award, I believe. And I believe that's what it was. And all his children, all 8 of them, he has 8 children.
Ooh,
All 8 of his children were on stage. He didn't even know they were going to be there. And when he came out, first of all, let me tell you what it really did for me. And I hope this can encourage somebody. And I definitely want Jacory to tap in. He turned 80 years old. First of all, to all the May birthdays that I didn't know I celebrated a birthday month with. Oh my God.
happy
Thank you so
birthday.
much. He celebrated, he became or he turned 80 years old yesterday.
Wow.
When that man was performing, I just thought to myself, there is absolutely no excuse. When I tell
Wow.
you he was killing it vocally, and so if you don't know who Rod Stewart is, you just have to go look him up. But he's been around forever, ever and a
Ever.
day, ever, and he even shot out all his influences, Muddy Waters and Sam Cooke, and he was like he's just shot out really almost all black people, and he said all these people have
Wow.
influenced me. They helped me to become this person. I wouldn't even be. He said the same thing. He said I didn't do this to be famous.
Mm,
I
that's the
always
key.
wanted to sing. And look at me now, right? But his performance was so incredible. And somebody else, they be like, Yolanda, what made me say, I just feel like I have no excuses. This man is 80 years old and he's getting
Hmm.
ready to go on an 80-day tour, his
Ooh.
last tour. So I want to try. What do you think about that?
I think that's how it's supposed to be. I
That's how
honestly,
it's
I
supposed
mean,
to be.
I remember there was an Apollo that came on years ago with Patti LaBelle, and he was on there, and I mean, in style and dress, I mean, he's still setting trends at 80 years old
At 80 years old.
with his look and everything. And I just think, I was thinking about this before we got on the call. I was just like, who? Because I don't know a lot of the new artists. My heroes and sheroes in music are pretty much up in age to where I'm like the Gladys Knight, the Patti LaBelle's. I think we had the best. You had the best
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
selected years in music because I'm like, what is it going to do? Especially with sidebar this P Diddy stuff going on. I think it's bringing everything back down to the ground floor.
Oh, that's so good, Ja'Cory.
So I'm just like, where's the new Barry Gordy's? Where's the new Motown? Where's the new? I mean, I get independency. I love it. But at the end of the day, we still need some help, but it needs to be the right help.
So can I pause what you just said?
Hmm.
I was watching probably the Breakfast Club. Shout out to Breakfast Club, right? And I can't remember who the person was, and they were asking these questions. What made labels like Motown and all these things great? And they were saying because they were owned by us. We owned them. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to be sure. It was R&B Money, Tank's podcast,
Wow.
and they were talking. They said, "Well, what made it so amazing?" And they were sharing to say that it was the fact that we owned all these spaces. So we owned Motown, we owned this label, we owned that label. Everything we did was from the inside. Now, this is no this. I don't want to make this about a color thing. I think the difference is that then, like the responses from a Rod Stewart and from a Janet Jackson. I think the difference was those people, most of them, maybe not all, didn't go into it actually to be famous.
Right.
They
It was
went into it to because of the love of the game, the love of music. That may not be the truth for all, but they went into it for the love of music. I think in this day, everybody is trying to be famous, and then they complain when people don't when people don't like them, or when people didn't like their outfit, or they said this about me. No, but you want to be famous.
Hmm.
This is what comes with being a celebrity. This is what comes with these spaces. People are not going to agree with everything you do or with everything you say. They're not going to like you. They may not like your music. That doesn't make you less. I just don't know if people understand the gravity of actually being quote unquote a celebrity or being famous.
That's a good teach. That's a good teach.
Yeah, I don't think people. How? What do you feel about that right there?
I'm in an agreement totally because I'm just at a point now to where it's just like I want the people that are a hero and sheroes to have something that they stand for. So that's actually what I'm looking for in the modern day entertainers. But I don't see what they stand for.
Hmm.
Like I would say,
That's
I was
good.
telling somebody yesterday, like Stevie Wonders, I feel like PJ Morton is kind of keeping that sound alive. It's
Yeah,
different, but
yeah.
it's still in that vein. When you look at Patti LaBelle, there'll never be another Patti LaBelle, but you got a
Nope.
Fantasia that'll give you, some of those extras. So I'm just like, because my thing is, I would hate to see all of that die. And I honestly, with the sounds that are coming out now, I don't see it doesn't move me. And maybe that's just because I'm getting old. I know that the seasons and the current change, but I'm just like, for us, we got to keep us alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, when I listen to the radio, it's just like we still playing stuff before my time. So are we going to be stuck in that era of music? Which is nothing wrong with it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, what we're duplicating now, it doesn't have the same effect.
I think it's hard to duplicate. I don't know if you can. I don't. I don't think it's hard to duplicate. I don't know if you can duplicate a Walter Hawkins,
Oh no,
or if you can
that'll never.
duplicate a Gladys, or if you can duplicate a Whitney. I don't think those sounds can be reduplicated. I also think the era that they came through, they have to work harder. This is no
Oh,
disrespect
definitely.
to any new artist or anything like that, but they really did have to go through artist development. They really did sit in the studio for hours. They really In Vogue's story, part of In Vogue's story actually. mm. So I think people forget is sometimes the secular and the church always overlapped. So Donald Lawrence was working with In Vogue. There's a story that when they did the song Hold On to Your Love and they were working through that particular album, he made those girls walk on the treadmill in heels while
Insane.
singing the song. Now,
Right.
I'm not saying artists today do not experience those type of things, but I'm just saying I think there was a different level of work ethic. There was a different level of punch that artists today don't feel like they have to go through. I was watching, I won't say the show, but I was watching a show and one of the hosts was frustrated
Mm-mm.
because people were talking about what they had on at another public event. They weren't at work, but they were saying, I mean, why does it matter what I had on? And why does it matter that, well, it matters because you're in the public eye. They're always going to have something to say. You can't do anything about that. So only thing you can do is watch how you respond. And some things you don't have to respond to. And he's going in the church.
Totally. Totally. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to leave you, but I think I'm gonna have to leave you because I'm getting calls. I probably need to go over the phone.
No. Well, sing the people under the table.
All right, I love you all, Yolanda. The
Bye.
show was good. Do your thing.
Bye. So yeah, we can keep talking about it. That CCM music is unfortunately taking over. I actually don't know if it's taking over. I think it's that Christian contemporary worship has always been here. CC Winans she is a product of that lane. And I was just having this conversation with someone, and they felt like, this music, it has nothing in it, and it's taking over. I don't know if that's sorry, y'all. I don't know if that's necessarily always the case. I think that sometimes we don't believe our own self. So here's always going to be my personal thing. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, hopefully this won't tip. Sorry. Okay. So here's going to always be my personal thing concerning Christian contemporary worship. I can respect it when that is who you are. Now, I'm not saying when you're singing it at your church on a Sunday morning. I'm saying that if you're saying you want to be a contemporary Christian worship artist, and that is not who you are at your core. Who I am at my core is not that. So it would feel strange to me. And I think a lot of times that's part of it. But I just think sometimes we're trying to become these things that we're not. And that's why we end up getting these spaces continuously that feel, kind of a little uncomfortable. Trayvon, hi Trayvon. Williams says, I feel like the most successful artist was more concerned with their dream, the feeling people get when where the showcased and more. The problem with today's artists is that they are more worried about being famous versus the work and filling the fans. I totally agree. I think being famous today's day is touch and go. You can be famous today and you cannot be famous tomorrow. I don't think being famous today is anything like it was in the past. I'm not saying you shouldn't seek um, to be in amazing spaces, but I don't know if it is wise to seek to be famous. Because this is my personal opinion. Famous today is not famous today is not like it was in the even the early 2000s, 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, definitely not 60s, like anything like that. And even in those days, there was still people still experience things. I am a fan of Lucille Ball, and there was a season in Lucille Ball's life where she was doing quite a bit of amazing things, but she also was extreme ridicule because at the time they thought she was a part of the this certain political party that she wasn't a part of at all. And her life for a small, for a season was kind of turned upside down. And so you say, why would you bring up Lucille Ball? Because I think people don't know all the things that you go through when your life is on public display. It seems easy to do with no problem, but that's not always the truth. It's hard. And so I say this all the time. If you want to be famous, I think you just need to understand what comes with that. I've had the opportunity to be poured into for years so that whenever these spaces happen, I'm more prepared. But a lot of times people are not prepared. That's not necessarily their fault. But a lot of times people are not prepared for the increase. They're not prepared for the space. And this is how you know, sometimes you end up in the wrong spaces and places at the wrong time. So I hope that helps somebody. It's okay to want something. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to have big dreams and big goals. There's nothing wrong with that. You just always have to try to remember your why you did it, why you started. If you try to go into these separate spaces and places without understanding that, you won't be ready for the fall. So, if you're here today and you're watching, thank you so much. As you can see, the whole team is busy doing live singing, working, doing what they do. But we're here, we're taking care of it, we're getting it done. Please be sure that you're following Freedom Radio. That's FREEDEM. Freedom Radio on all social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're not currently on TikTok. Should we be on TikTok? Tell us, should we be on TikTok? TikTok actually, let's talk about a little tech. TikTok actually requires a little bit more maintenance. While it's easy to post and be a part, it does require a little bit more maintenance, a little bit more babysitting, in order to really get some activity, in order to really get some movement. You have to be extremely consistent. And then you really have to make sure you're posting really, really great content. Trayvon also says it also has a lot to do with who you surround yourself with. Well, I can say it like this, friend. I don't think people understand, respectfully. I don't know if we always understand the weight of your circle. Um, 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 the amazing graphic artist, JP, his name is JP. He posted it's not just about what you eat, it's who you eat with. And I don't know if we always understand that. Sometimes the more you're rising to the top, the more that you cannot the thinner the air gets, and everybody can't stand in the air. I'm from Denver, Colorado. My beautiful stylist, he's from Colorado as well, Trayvon. And when you travel to Denver, most often people have a really hard time breathing because the altitude is so high. And the truth is, the higher you go, the harder it can be to breathe. Really, it's the same, thought. If you have people around you that aren't ready to travel up that road and breathe in this air, then it can be a problem. You got to have people around you who, number one, are with you no matter what. When it's up, when it's down, when the money's coming in and when there is none, when the chips are up, when the chips are down, it's important to have people in your life and like that. But it's also important to have people who don't always tell you yes. You got to have people in your life who tell you to take the post down. Again, shout out to Bishop David Cooper of New Hope Baptist Church, New Hope Baptist Full Gospel Church, um, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I'll just tell on myself, there was one day I posted something and he called me. I was sitting in St. Louis at my auntie's house, rest her soul. And he called me He said, "Good afternoon, young lady." I said, "Hi, Bishop." He said, "So let's have a conversation." I already knew. I said, "You're going to tell me to take the post down?" He said, "Absolutely. Take it down. You don't owe people that much. We know you're a good girl. We know that you do good work. And that's what you should concentrate on." Let me tell you, I didn't argue with him. I didn't fuss. I didn't fight. I didn't get mad. I took it down. He had a conversation with me. He explained why I needed to, the importance of that. Whew, I'm gonna start crying. And he had me take, and I took it down. You got to have people around you that are not yes people, people that pull you back, people that say, "Not today." You got to have people. You got to have people in your life that say, "We do the fighting, not you. You are supposed to be this, 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 that." That's what you do. You can't have people. Everybody around you can't want to fight. You got to have people around you that want to pray. People around you that say, "Sit down." People around you, like my friend Trayvon, who says, "No, you can't walk on stage like that. I know you may like this dress at your house, but you can't put that on." No. We still, so I'm with, it's just me today. So I just hope these things help people. Shout out to John X Polk, a great artist out of Florida, but now living in Denver. Isn't that something? And as Trayvon said, and most importantly, alignment. You got to have people in your life that you respect and people in your life that you can agree to. It doesn't mean y'all always agree on everything, but you can respect their position. There was one time I want to get a dress for church, right? And I like long dresses because it's either jumping up and down or sometimes I like to jump up and down. So if I'm jumping up and down, I prefer the long dress because then I can wear flats. Okay, that's my real secret. Okay. Tiana Lemons may get me for that later. But so there was this particular dress that I tried on. I was at Ross and I found this particular dress and I thought the dress was pretty. And for whatever reason, I decided to send Trayvon a picture of me in the dress. And I said, "What do you think?" He said, "Take it." He said, "Take it off." He said, "The dress makes you look too big." He said, "No, you should not know. I don't care what it's for. No." Now, mind you, this is the truth. I'm older than Trayvon. I'm older than him. Right? And but I love this guy. He's my amazing stylist. And we've walked through really heavy moments together because he helped me to understand that this is the body you're into. Oh, see, I'm gonna get emotional. But I hope this helps somebody. This is the body you're in today. I know you're working on your health, but today this is the body you're in. So you cannot wear that. It's gonna make you look thicker, or you know, larger, or expand you than you really are. He always tells me, "Yolanda, you're not as big as you think. You cannot wear this dress." So I said, "Okay." I took the dress off. You in the dressing room, you put your clothes back on, and I went walked into the store, looked around a couple other things, and I went to the counter and I bought the dress because I thought, who are you to tell me? This is as nice as I may be. This is the real experience. But he knows the story, so this is not a shock. And I thought to myself, who are you to tell me I can't buy this dress? I'm buying this dress because I think it's pretty and I want to wear this dress to church. That guy told me, I was walking through the parking lot and I clearly heard God say, "Take the dress back." I took the dress back. And I said, "Man, what is going on with me?" And so my whole point to all of you in that story is you have to have people around you that you respect. So speaking of respect, guess who's coming in the room? I just pull him in. I won't tell y'all.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Happy,
Hey,
happy Shop Talk Wednesday, everyone. Grateful to be hanging out with you virtually for a couple of minutes, trying to get my camera together
hey,
out
Prince
here.
man.
I'm in the airport, so I don't know what my audio is gonna sound like or what my
No, you sound good. It's great.
okay. Awesome. So I was trying to check in real quick to see what's going on. So you was talking about your stylist.
Yeah, I was talking about Trayvon and how He told me to take a dress back because it didn't work for my body type. And the larger part of that, because he was tapped in, is alignment. And I think it's important when you are any person of any space. It's not just artistry, right? It's life that you have people in your life. He's why I think Topher is wiser than I am, so he can speak to this. But people in your life that you don't always, as they say, have a yes man. People in your life that don't always tell you yes. You need people in your life who say no. Put that back. Take
Yeah,
that down. No, you don't need that. No, you should not talk to them. No, you cannot go over there. And you have to have people in your life that you can, that you respect their position.
absolutely. And whoever that person was, the Trayvon person, that's someone you need to keep in your life from now on because he's a friend. If he's if he's
Right.
willing, if he's willing to go out on a limb and tell you the absolute truth, no matter how you think he's going to feel about it, that's someone you want to keep in your life forever. Because a real friend is not, as you just said, is not going to be a real person that just says yes all the time. A real friend is going to be able to stand flat foot, look you in the face, and say, "I don't think so." And in doing that, in having that real friend, you ought to be able to disagree with somebody, but don't be disagreeable. So I think whoever this Trayvon person that you're mentioning, you need to keep them in your life from now on because that's the
I
person that
respect
has your
that.
back. That's the person
Oh,
that has your
thank you.
back.
Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, I think that's an important thing for people, just of any space or any place. But I think especially because of what we do, who we are, that's especially important for artists. You
True.
need people in your life that tell you to take the post down. Stop. I wish I could say this to some of y'all. Stop talking. You do not have to explain why you did that, that. That's what PR people are for. If you have that, or if that's in your budget to do, that's what PR people are for. That's what managers are for. Stop
Yeah,
talking. He who speaks
absolutely.
last, he who speaks first loses.
I feel you. And that's real. That's real talk. I mean, so the Trayvon is your stylist, or he's just a person
Yeah,
that.
he is
Okay,
my stylist. He said 100% not going anywhere. He's my stylist. Yep.
that's what he's but beyond a stylist, he's a friend. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that my grandmother told me many years ago. She says there's two things that you will have in life, and that's false friends and true enemies.
Mm.
I'm gonna just let that hang there for a second. She told me I was a young boy, and my grandmother told me that, and you will have false friends and true enemies. So,
Ooh,
when you find a real friend, you better hold on to them like gold because they are far and few in between, and they are hard to find.
wow. Two things you will have in life: true
False
friend,
friends,
false
no, false
friends.
friends and true enemies.
False friends. That's our quote for today. False friends and true enemies.
Yeah, yeah. What's going
Wow.
on? What's going on in Nicole East and my homie there in the Bay? What's going on? Glad to see her hanging out with us. Yes, false friends and true enemies. Them two things you will have.
Jeez, you can count on it.
You can count on it. You can set your clock by it. And
Ooh,
everybody with whom you are friendly, if you think you have a friend, you better find out who their friend is because their friend might not be your friend. Listen, I'm probably the wrong person to talk to about friendship because I could tell you some stories. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, uh,
that's
that
so
every
good.
everyone with whom you are friendly does not make them your friend. And just because you call somebody your sister or your brother, that does not qualify them to be your friend.
That does not. Yeah, someone told me once. Wow. You have to watch what you say because you think you're holding it to them, right? And there are people, let me say this. There are people that like that do exist. There are people that you share something with them, they literally do not tell a soul. They do exist. But you also have to be aware and cognizant, use discernment. Because there are some people you share that with them and they tell their best friend, and their best friend tells their best friend.
Listen, if it's too hot for you to hold, and don't think the next person is gonna hold it. So if whatever's being told to you, or if it's something that's in your heart that you can't hold yourself, don't expect that next person that you tell to hold it because they're not gonna hold it. I'm trying to tell you what I know. I'm telling you what I've seen in my little time of living. You know, and again, just because you call somebody your brother, your sister, your girlfriend, or whatever, listen, y'all better read that Bible. Y'all better pick it up. Samson thought he had a friend in Delilah. He
Come on.
laid his head in the wrong barbershop, woke up
Come
in the morning,
on.
and his strength was gone. Now you don't want to talk to me about friends. Listen,
Come
just
on. How many of us have them?
let me tell you something. Esau had a brother named Jacob. They were twins. They had the same mama, had the same daddy. They lived in the same house. But later on in life, Jacob cheated his brother out of his birthright. He cheated his brother out of his birthright. You're not only my friend, you're my brother, and you treat me out of my birthright. And the Bible says in Genesis 27 and 41 that Esau hated Jacob. And he said that I'm going to kill you. The only reason why I'm not going to kill you right now is because my daddy's alive. But as soon as my daddy died, I'm going to kill you. This is a brother talking to his brother. So just because you consider someone to be your brother, that does not make them your friend.
Can I add this part in our last 2 minutes?
Absolutely.
What you just said about, oh, I feel like I want to go to Sunday school. Oh, y'all need to bring Sunday school back to these churches, huh?
We
That's where we
have it at
learn these
ours.
lessons.
Yeah.
I thought about when you talked about Delilah. The other part was she waited it out. This wasn't an overnight thing. She didn't, if you will, I don't know why I want to say this part, like give up the ghost too fast.
Yeah.
That girl waited that process out.
You know why?
She,
You know
mm,
why she waited it out? Because T plus O equals M. I'm gonna give y'all this last nugget as we get ready to close out our show. T plus O equals M, meaning time plus opportunity equals motives. You give them somebody some time, you give them a little opportunity, you're gonna find out for sure what their motive is. T plus O equals M. Y'all can have that for free. Y'all preachers and bishops that preach every Sunday, you can have that for free. You don't even owe me a tithe. But time plus opportunity is going to equal the motives. Let that sink in.
nothing comes easy. Trayvon says nothing comes easy. Look at how a diamond is processed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, this is so good. Well, that wraps up. I hope y'all got something today. We never do it the way it's planned, but I hope it helps. From the funerals to the artistry to the birthdays to the conversations, I hope it helps you somebody today. Maybe that's what it's really about. It's about helping
Absolutely.
people to get to the next part, right? Where we're all
Absolutely.
walking through it one day at a time. So, from
Demetrius Tollfree here in a G14 classified location to Ja'Cory Prothro on his way into a funeral, Ashlyn Cole on location wherever she might be. We throw it back out to my homegirl, Yolanda Marant, out in Charlotte, North Carolina, to let us know what.
you can watch again next week at the same time at this same Shop Talk channel. All right.
Absolutely. We appreciate everybody.
All right, y'all. Have a good day.
Peace.
Peace.